In this video, you're going to learn how to find the derivatives of inverse functions in general, so not just like specifically inverse trig or something like that, but just any inverse function. We're going to use this. We're going to do this by using two methods. For all these problems, you're going to draw a very good picture, and then you're going to think. All right, this is how most of these problems start off. Something with let G be the inverse of f. And so, in the example we're going to do together, f of x, I'll do it in blue, f of x is going to equal 1/4 x cubed, that's a 4, not a y, plus x minus 1. And g is the inverse of x, so that means that g of x equals f to the negative 1 of x. Now this negative 1 is not 1 over f, and it's not the negative first derivative of f. All the negative 1 means is inverse. So if you ever see that notation, that means inverse function. Okay, so you probably learned in Algebra 1 how to find the inverse, and it was something like switch x and y and solve for y. Well, if we try that here, so if I say x equals 1/4 y cubed plus y minus 1, and then I try to solve for y, that's going to be icky. Blech. I don't like it, because it's cubic, and that's kind of gross, and what? No, can't do that. So we have a problem, especially because, obviously, this is calculus, and the problem is to find g prime of 3. Ha. Okay. We need to find g prime of 3, but we have a problem because we have no idea as to what g of x equals explicitly. Like, we just don't know. So what we need to do is we need to, step 1, draw a picture. Your picture for doing any inverse derivative problem will start with the x and y axes, and also the magical line that is y equals x. Why y equals x? Well, because if you have two functions that are inverses, they will be mirror images across the line y equals x. Something very, very important to note. This is the picture for doing inverse functions, mainly because it helps you think better, and so it's not going to be to scale. The functions are going to be completely wrong, but you'll get the problem right because you'll do the thinking part. So, without further ado, here's f. Yes, it's wrong. I don't care. This is the function f, just for the picture. It's fine. And then the function g is a mirror image across the line y equals x. So if you like tilt your page 45 degrees, then you can kind of say it's like, it's kind of like that. Great. And now every single point on g has a corresponding point on f and vice versa. So like if this is the point 3, 1, then the point over here is 1, 3. You just flip the x and the y coordinates, and these 2 points are linked like that. But those aren't the points we're working with, so let's go to how do we find that. To figure out the point, you need to look at the problem. The problem says find g prime of 3. That means that x equals 3 on the graph of g. G is the inverse graph, so now here's where things get kind of weird. Okay, just pick any point. It doesn't matter. If that looks like 3, great. So we're going to call this point 3, something, because this x value is 3, but I don't know what the y value is. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to find the corresponding point on f. Whoop, there it is. And this coordinate is something, 3, because the y value, x and y switch, the y value is 3. Okay. Now we don't know the x value here, so we're going to call it a. Okay, so we have a, 3, and again, because they switch, that means that this y value is now a, so this is an a. Really, it doesn't matter up here, but this is the important bit. So that's step 1 of your process. Step 1 is draw the picture for inverses, and also find the corresponding point on f. Okay, so you find your corresponding points on f and g. So in our picture, this whole thing is really step 1. Okay, big picture. Here's the big picture. We want to find g prime of 3. Prime means derivative. Derivative, hopefully you said slope next to your computer. Right, we're finding the slope of g at x equals 3. So that's this tangent line slope right there. That's the slope we're looking for. Well, we don't know how to do that yet because we don't know what g is. But, this slope has a relationship to the slope of the corresponding point on f. Ooh, that might be exciting. What is that relationship, you might ask? Well, if you think about it, and if you look at the graph, it kind of seems like they're reciprocals, and in fact they are. If this slope is m, this slope is 1 over m. So the big picture here is that we're going to find the slope on f, and then take the reciprocal to get the slope on g. To do that, we need to do a few more things. The first thing we need to do is find a. So that's step 2. Step 2. Yay, let's find a. Well, how do we find a? Well, hey, we have a function, and we know that when we plug in a, we're going to get 3. So what's our equation for f? Oh, there it is. So we're going to take this equation, we're going to set it equal to 3, and solve for the x value, which is, in this case, a. So we'll get 3 equals 1/4 a squared, a cubed, plus a minus 1. Now, in this case, this is where things are usually going to be like easier. So when you solve for a here, the main thing if you can't solve it explicitly, you're going to have to guess and check. And the guessing and checking will usually be easy. Try easy numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3. And if none of those work, then come and ask me or use your calculator. But here, if you try 0, okay, 0 plus 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Doesn't work. If you plug in 1, okay, you got 1 cubed times a fourth, which is a fourth, plus 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, so that doesn't work. But if you try 2, let's try 2. You get 1/4 times 8, which is 2, plus 2 minus 1, which is 3. Check it out. So that means that a equals 2. Okay, guess and check, it works. Go to your graph, and now instead of having a, now we have 2. Ah, very nice. Okay, we're not done yet. Big picture, remember we're trying to find the slope, so we need to find this slope. Oh, now I can find the slope, because what I'm going to do is think, how do I find the slope if I know the function and the x value? Well, it's easy, because it's just f prime of 2. So, let's find f prime. If you're keeping up with the steps, this is the next step, is find f prime of a. Here's my function. Let's take the derivative. So f prime of x equals, bring down the 3, so it's 3/4 x squared plus 1 minus 0. And then we're going to plug in 2, because that was the a value. So we get 3/4 times 2 squared, which is 4, plus 1. These 4's will cancel, so we'll get 3 plus 1, which is 4. Okay? So, back to the context. We'll put the colors back in so it makes sense. So f prime of 2 equals 4. Alright, that means that the slope of f at x equals 2 is 4. Back to the picture. Ta-da! There's the picture. That means that this green slope right here, this slope is 4. And now you do your thinking, put your thinking cap on. If that slope is 4, then this slope, which is the corresponding reciprocal slope, this slope is 1/4. And that's the slope we're looking for, because this slope is g prime of 3. So g prime of 3 is 1/4. And that's the answer. Okay? So that final step is just take the reciprocal of the slope that you found in part 3, and that's your answer.